Well, that was a great speech we heard from Anita. You know, it actually had content. You're not going to have to worry about that. Just relax with me. The Tao of dryer sheets. What is a Tao? I'm trying to figure that out. My wife and I have really met around studying the world religions. We dabble in a little everything just to find out what's out there. And right now I'm reading a book about the Tao. And I really understand very little, this esoteric stuff. And as I do that, I have to tell you all that in a general way, as I operate in my life, there's forces, are you this or that? And as I talk to my conservative friends, they think that New Age study of the Tao and all that is kind of voodoo, hoodoo, I'm wacky. But I like it. But my liberal friends can't understand my conservative views. And so I'm pretty much hated on both sides of the aisle. And that's okay. That's okay with me. What I'm looking at is a concept called non-credo. And that I absolutely don't understand. But when I read further, it's about I don't believe. It's a concept of when you're approached with opinions that your first reaction is, I don't believe. Okay, but I've got all these beliefs that I've built up over my years, opinions from people, my parents, the school teachers, everybody in my life. How am I going to understand this? And as you know, for me, I like to use some kind of a physical object to bring this thing into an understanding for myself. The other day, Wednesday to be exact, I went into a store that I worked at when I was 14, started there when I was 14 years old, called Reichert's Market, the grocery store in Lenexa, Kansas. Right now it's a health food store that sells kombucha on tap. That's why I was there. It was the store itself was about the size of the produce department in a regular grocery store. Just little tiny, but it was sufficient for the times. And at 14, it was about 1967, and I did everything in the store. And I claim to this day that I learned more there, talking with the customers, working with all those different aspects of that business, that is carried with me for years. And so I was there on Wednesday and remembering all the different things that were happening at that time. 1967. A lot of products were being introduced. It was kind of that time when all of a sudden we had Fruit Loops. We had dairy products changing from butter to whipped butter. And it turns out that it was kind of like plastic in a tub, but we had all these products, Similac. Think about all the things that are on the shelf, and most of you have just grew up with them and they're there. But the one that I was most intrigued with was a product like this. I'm not sure it was Bounce in 1967, but we had to find space. I was a stock boy, and we had to find space on the shelf for that, and there was no space. The aisle at Hy-Vee today, when I went to buy this, had more of this product dedicated to the shelf than we had for the entire laundry department at Rikers. And so it's a real challenge. And there was controversy. Isn't there controversy in the world about I believe this, you believe that? And there was a lot of controversy about it. And I watched from my point of view as a 14, 15-year-old how to respond to not believing or to what was happening with the dynamic. First of all, there was a salesman. What did he want? He wanted this on that shelf. And he spent time there talking to the owner of the business, Joe Reichert, trying to convince him that this product belonged on that shelf. And Joe said, well, we don't have room. I got all this other new stuff. I'm running out of space. This was a precious commodity. So from there, he said, well, you're going to have to sell it because this is the coming thing. And then the forces began to start to work. We had marketing. Every time you turned on TV, this was the newfangled thing. You didn't have to go through all those other products to get your clothes on. Well, then the other side, who was selling the liquid fabric softener said, don't you dare use this. It'll rust out your dryer. The bearings and everything are shot the minute you put this in there. And then the media picked in. Every once in a while you see an article. Industry experts say this will rust out your dryer. So that the struggle was on. And we eventually put it on the shelf and began to sell. The owner of the store said, well, if it's selling, I guess it doesn't matter. And then it proved out that really, I don't think the dryers ever did. Anybody use this? Ever had a dryer ruined because of it? No. So then, from there, I took it to an expert. Again, I was not emotionally invested like some of the issues we run into today, with this or that, and we fight about it. I just was watching. And I went home. I grew up in a German family. And my mother, when she was presented with what she determined as bullshit, would go, ah! You know, that. And I didn't ever get clear on where she was on that. And now, 50 years later, I was thinking about it. And I pulled a t-shirt out of the dryer. And what non-credo is, or non-belief, is about relying on your own inner experiences, your own inner intuition, and coming up with where you believe. And what came to me was when I put the shirt up, I didn't smell bounce or fabric softener. I smelled fresh air. And I remembered that we had a dryer, but my mom didn't use it, only if she really had to. My clothes were dried on a line, and they smelled like, I can smell it like it was yesterday. I don't believe in dryer sheets the way I did before. What I do believe, and what action I'm going to take, is before this box is gone, I'm going to build a clothesline. I do believe in that.